Okay, my friends, I'm so glad you're back. I brought Carmen Tuleta on the podcast to talk about all things human design. We're going to keep it short and sweet for you, simple. We're trying to break very complex stuff down and keep it super simple because I think it's important to, like, we can get so overwhelmed. Like, what are the couple key takeaways? So, on the last couple of podcasts, we've broken down each type so far. So, we've talked about manifestors, manifesting generators, and generators in the last 3 episodes. So, if you want to go listen or watch that, you're welcome to do that. And so today we're going to talk about projectors, and Carmen is a projector, and I'm so glad you're here. So let's dive in.
I am. I'm so glad to be here again today. Um, yeah, so type, projectors. So our type is the foundation, I think, of our human design. It is how we energetically move through the world and interact with the world. It is our aura. And it contains our strategy, which is part of our decision making strategy. So it's something that we always come back to. So that's kind
Yeah.
of it's the foundation of our design.
Yeah. So you want to talk about projectors, and I mean, we're going to talk about projectors, but I'm like, what I want to say is, like, I've met so many projectors, and this is what we both, Carmen and I, feel so passionate about, is never, ever, ever using your human design as a way to disempower yourself. Like,
Yes.
only use it to empower yourself, to
Amen.
be delusional, because we're going to be delusional one way or the other, right?
Hmm.
So, and I'll talk to projectors, and they're like, and if you want to share, first of all, share your like the strategy and
Oh,
um
okay.
like how projectors move, and then I want to share a story that many projectors have shared with me.
Okay. So the strategy for a projector is wait for the invitation and recognition. So when I first started human design, I didn't understand what my strategy was because it seemed so complicated. And I honestly think that invitation is kind of like where to start. It can be verbal, can be energetic, but understanding how your body feels when you get that invitation is the starting point. And knowing that that is an invitation for you to move forward.
Mm.
Um, and then it's moving into recognition. So knowing when someone recognizes you for you, not what you do,
Mm.
is is the key, I think, to really understanding your strategy and authority as a projector.
Yeah, a lot of projectors lately, they have found out they're a projector, and then they say, like, well, I can't share, my knowledge because nobody's
Mhm.
invited me. And I would love your thoughts on this, but it's like, I believe it's like you just share, but you're not going and infusing your advice yet, right? Like, you're just
Right.
sharing, and people love to grasp onto your knowledge and
Mhm.
all of that. And then the invitations come through sharing. So coming
Yep.
back to, like, using it from an empowering place.
It's about being seen for your knowledge and what you
Mhm.
have to offer. And I find that as a projector, it's very hard to be seen, but there's also that want to be seen, if that makes sense.
Does that come from the ego, do you think? Like, the want to be seen?
Potentially,
Like, do you think that's what it
um,
means, or what do you mean by that?
probably. I look back at like my younger days,
Mm.
and when you push that to be seen, so I guess
Oh.
in a sense, it's like not waiting for the invitation, in a sense, or the recognition. So that pushing to be seen
Mm.
always blows back, right?
Yeah. And I think here we go back to, like, human design, and then also just, like, energy vibration. Like, I think anybody, whether you're a projector or not, like, giving advice, unless that other person is at that place where they're ready to receive, no advice goes very well when you're, like, trying to shove advice or what someone should
Right.
do, right? And so I think whether you're a projector or not, it's like, is that other person on the other end at a place where they are ready and
Mhm.
willing to receive the message that you're about to give?
Absolutely. And as a projector, we can see quite a bit, and it's off putting. It is very
Mm,
off-putting. We see the things that other people don't see. So having that invitation is so tetramonk. It is like almost gospel to have that because sometimes things aren't easy to hear, right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
as a projector, knowing that I have that invitation to share something is huge because it's so much more impactful. And I'm not left, or a projector isn't left feeling that not self theme of bitterness and resentment.
Yeah. And then what is your like when you know you're on track or when it feels like when you're in alignment, what is the emotion that typically shows up for you for
For
projectors?
for projectors, it's success.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Um
success, that feeling of success. And it's really funny because I I was talking to someone about a projector who wasn't a projector, and they're like, "Well, I like success." And it's not success in the of what we think success
yeah.
is. It's not having all the things, it's not being successful, it's a feeling in the body. And I think what people don't understand is that that satisfaction or that signature goal of our types is not an outside thing. It's an inside feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go back to because there's a couple of things that I've also heard, and I'm like, no, 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 that's not what it means. Of like, oh, projectors, they're not sacral beings, so they don't necessarily work.
Well, so because projectors are don't have a defined sacral, they amplify the energy of all of sacral beings. So a lot of times the projectors in the room are going to be the busiest ones. And it's almost a frenzied energy in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Coming from my experience as a
Mm-hmm.
projector, maybe other projectors don't feel this, but for me, it's almost like a frenzied. My daughter Ukrainian danced and my son Ukrainian danced for years. And when it came to recital time, I was the mom that did all the things. I was the one running from room to room to help all the people because I had knowledge in the area as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, too, there's a misconception that there's no energy in a projector chart, and there are offsets of projectors. So there is an energy projector, which I am, and it's having a motor defined for a projector. So that could be your solar plexus, that could be your heart, that could be your root. So there are such a things as an energy projector, which I am, and my heart is defined. So I have a
Yeah. And
little bit of oomph.
yeah, I think everybody does, right? Like
Mhm,
projectors, like
absolutely.
you can work. It's just, are you working in a way that is in alignment and that feels good in your body and you're
Mhm,
honoring, the invitation. And it's not like you don't work at all. It's like, yes, you do. It's just, what do you
mhm.
have the energy for honoring where you are in your energy cycle? And then, um, you said something about, go ahead.
The honoring piece is huge as a projector. And there's a misconception, I feel like, that you have to rest as a projector.
Mm-hmm.
Rest looks different for all of us.
Hmm.
And resting could be doing something you love, something that lights you up and fills your cup versus having a nap.
Yeah.
I love sleep, don't get me wrong. And I'm
Yeah.
a napper and I require that. But once I knew that I was a projector and I wasn't just lazy,
Mm,
I
mhm.
required that time for myself to rejuvenate my energy. Um, it was huge for me. I let go of a lot of guilt because there was a lot of guilt because
Mhm.
I think people who are projectors sometimes have that conditioning of they're lazy and they're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. So for you, in terms of like the pause, like we talked about on the other podcast of like how important the pause is and like
Whew.
pause is, and then waiting for the invitation. Like you asked me about trusting and things like that. Like how has that shown up for you? And like tell us a little bit about that from a projector
Oh,
standpoint.
so from a projector standpoint for me, and this is like very recent that I've really tapped into this for myself and really began to understand how it works for myself as a projector,
Mhm.
is actually doing the thing that I'm passionate about and putting my blinders on. And those invitations have shown up in so many different ways, in amazing ways. And that recognition, I'm finally learning what true recognition feels like in my body. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like a huge light bulb for me. It's, yeah, it's been, so I think for me, knowing, okay, I'm working on the thing that I love and doing the things. And then it's like projectors just slide after that. Things just come to them.
So in business, that looks like sharing your knowledge, like
Showing up.
how showing up. Okay.
Um, Projectors can struggle with consistency because we're not energy beings, and redefining what consistency looks for us is huge. So, for instance, showing up on social media, you do not have to show up every day. Consistency isn't showing up every day, that's frequency.
Yeah.
But
That's so
if
good.
you're showing up, you're there 2, 3 times a week, whatever it is for you, that's consistent.
Yeah.
And something before I ever was a projector that I've always said is people will come to me when they're ready for me.
Mm. Mhm.
So knowing and that's pause, right?
Yeah.
That's sitting back and waiting and pausing. So,
And trusting. You said about the consistency, and I think that's for projectors, and I think that's for everyone, right? Like, what is your
absolutely.
like here we go back to, we're so conditioned in our, at least the Western culture, right? Of like consistent means like every single day and doing all of things. And like even to the sacral being generator here, I'm like, that just wears me out thinking about
Mhm.
that, right? And so really using, like I say too, like using your human design in a way that like feels good, right? Like what is consistent? Like everybody can struggle with consistency, right? Like because we have a human
Mhm.
brain that's like, no, 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 we
Absolutely.
don't want to do that, right? And so like what feels good for you, and showing up and like committing to that. And yeah,
Mhm.
like the fun part of it, like having fun with it versus I said I was going to do this.
The question I always ask myself is this fun? How can I make this fun? Because no one wants to do stuff that's not fun. It's like a slog, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And why would we have energy to do those things that we love if we're putting all our energy into things that we hate?
yeah. You have anything else that you want to talk about and say about projectors?
Oh, yeah, no, the honoring. So I think for a projector as well, something that has occurred to me is who we are is rooted in relationship. Because a lot of times, the people that come into our world help us with our energy.
Mm, mhm.
So I think that whether it's in a marketing capacity for your business or in life, right? And this comes, and we've talked about this before, like the generator projector relationship.
Yep.
I think that because of the recognition between the two of them, it gives each other energy.
Yeah. What would you say to someone is like, how do I start to lean back and like allow invitations to come because it's really scary and I don't trust? Yeah.
Ooh, um, how do I even put it into words? Because I'm just starting to figure it out for myself. Um, it is taking that step back
Yeah.
and finding that thing that lights you up that you want to spend your time doing. Because once you find that thing and you are honing in on that thing and finding that blinders, stuff's just going to come, and
I
trust
feel
the
like it's like
process.
willing. Yeah. I was going to say like willingness. Like it
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
it does take some willingness and some like dipping the toe. Like I'm going to try it, and
Hmm.
like leaning into the trust, right?
Hmm.
Like I always say, like, you know how it feels the other way in your body. And it's not like that there's one way, right way or one wrong way, right? But like, you know how
Right.
forcing things felt like in your body for you
Hmm.
versus how it feels in your body now to kind of like lean back and like things just come because you're doing all of the stuff that you love to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me too, because I am an emotional being, I stepping back and trusting is huge. Whether you're in it, and again, no
Yeah.
matter what
All
type
the
you are, no
types,
matter
right?
what your authority is, stepping back and taking that pause and you, like you said, trusting is huge, and being willing, one to do the work and one to wait.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, my friends. So we've got one more. We got reflectors on the next episode. Thank you so much, Carmen, for all of your time, your wisdom, your
Thank you.
knowledge, for sharing all of that with us. Where can people find you, learn more about you, all of the things?
Well, right now my website's on an overhaul, so um, that's coming, but I do have a link to book a session with me. So I can give that to you, and you can pop it in the show notes. And I do have an Instagram account. I'm also doing an overhaul there, but I'm still there and I'm still showing up there, with a little bit of a twist on my how I look at human design and how I help people. And I have so much fun over there. I'm
I was
starting
like,
to really
you
enjoy
gotta
it.
go watch Carmen because she's so fun. She like throws twists on things and she's just, yeah, it's fun to like talk about things in such a fun, easeful, like not serious way. And Carmen does a
It
great
is.
job at that. Yeah.
We have enough serious in life. Let's
Oh my
have
gosh.
some fun,
Let's have some
right?
fun. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Carmen, again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.